Towards the end of the fourth quarter and overtime, y'all were mixing and matching a lot more in defensive fronts, running some young guys out there, even changing some cornerbacks up.
Yeah, we were able to play quite a few guys, and a lot of our young guys, a lot of our future talent were able to get out on the field, and that's always impressive to see. To see those guys play and have some success in a critical situation. So I was excited, and I know they were.
That's probably the most playing time guys like Shane McCardell have gotten so far this year, especially those third. That's what you wanted him for, a third and long situation kind of thing.
You definitely want him in critical situations because when you're going to play these hurry-up and tempo-type offenses, you've got to have some depth, and which allows you to play well as the game progresses. So it was good to see Shane go out there and compete.
You got 3 or 4 sacks from your defensive backs, and then Ferg had one. And the linebackers didn't make a ton of plays in the backfield. Is that a product of the scheme? How do you want to attack, or what?
Well, the biggest thing that we saw is where we could create mismatches, and what we were getting from that offense, and every week it changes. Obviously you're going to have some people who allow you to play man on them, some people allow you to play zone, and so what we tried to do is give a great mix last week. We mixed up man in certain areas of the field, and we played zone when we needed to play zone.
So much, obviously defense, X's and O's and everything like that, but how much confidence helps the defense when guys and DBs and everybody are making those picks, making interceptions, and making the big plays and helping out the linebackers and the defensive line?
Well, it's huge because obviously at the end of the day, you're out there to make big plays. So often you're out there to prevent them. But it was nice to go out there and see guys make big plays, and that's the thing that we've been missing the last few weeks, going out and generating some turnovers, those big plays, and when you do that, obviously they change games.
Could you kind of compare and contrast Banks and Broomfield, and they're both very effective, I guess, in different ways.
Yes.
Broomfield real savvy, and Banks, of course, just a pure athlete.
I think in a lot of ways they're similar. Both of them go on the perimeter and play man. The biggest thing that you see is the size differentiation. One has a lot of length, and the other one's, I don't want to say smallish, but he's that typical, field corner who you can lock up and and play out there on field one quite a bit. What John does, he gives you a big body, a lot of length, and a guy who can really support you in the run game. So, if I was going to say in contrast, though, that would be them to a T.
I know Cox and Boyd haven't necessarily had their best games, especially this past week. What do you try and get them to get going a little bit? Because I know you guys have been counting on them so much.
Well, first of all, they've played well, but our expectations and standards for them are really, really high, and that's a good thing for them. They kind of want it and enjoy it. But there are not a lot of people last week that were running lead inside, and we'll get a test and really get a good gauge of see who we really are this week. Because this is a more traditional offense. They're going to run and pound you inside, run lead, run powers, and run those things that where your defensive tackles have to count. So I think this will be a real good test for them and to see where we're really at.
What do you see from Crowell, the running back? They're just a freshman, but doing pretty well.
Very talented. There's an old thing I like to say. If you got to tell a stand-up guy where to go, he's probably not the guy. So you don't have to tell this guy too much. He knows what to do with the football in his hands. What we've got to do is, with that being said, is we've got to be able to, to create turnovers, to tackle well, because those are the things that you really got to do when you've got a talented run game.
Last year, you didn't have to worry about Murray pulling the ball down and running occasionally, but he's shown this year he's willing to take off a little bit.
He pulled it last year. He makes a lot of plays with his feet. He's a guy that can go out and not only throw the ball around and spread it around with his arm, but if he doesn't see what he likes, he can make plays with his feet.
What's it like preparing for like an elite run game, like LSU or Georgia? I mean, is it more X's or O's, or just preparing them for the physical, like you say, making the tackle?
The physicality is as much, This is not a trick 'em offense. Neither was LSU. There's no disguise. They come out and they've got a great package now. When I've been saying that, they've got some things that they do well that really complement their offense. But they're going to go out and they're going to beat Georgia, and they're going to put the ball into the playmakers' hands. And again, they're always tweaking, but primarily, they're going to get into 21 personnel, 11 personnel, and move the ball around. And they know how to do it vertically as well as in the run game. They've got a really good plan.